Now that is, I'm assuming that would be if you had a pretty healthy, functioning relationship with certain family members. But I think we can all attest that we have certain family members that are just toxic to our mental health. So, what are some common challenges that people may face when trying to set those boundaries with toxic family members that just aren't really trying to hear what you have to say, but they're just there to use you for, whatever they could get out of you? How do you have those type of conversations, or do you just isolate and just leave them all alone altogether?
So initially, you want to attempt to have the conversation, right? You want to attempt to have a healthy conversation. If these are individuals who are not operating from a healthy mentality or a healthy mindset around relationships, you're going to come up against a brick wall, because they are either going to gaslight you, or they're going to ignore you, or they're going to minimize your emotional needs in the situation. And so if that's something that happens, that's simply information for you. That's information that, oh, you don't respect my boundaries, right? You can't respect my boundaries. And so then there has to be a consequence. If you don't respect and can't respect and aren't willing to acknowledge my boundaries, then that means that I now have to enforce the boundary. So there's a difference between setting a boundary and then enforcing the boundary. The setting is saying, hey, I really would appreciate if you lowered your voice when you speak to me, because maybe your yelling triggers a certain emotional response for me, and that doesn't feel good. That's setting the boundary. You're saying this is what the boundary is, and you're laying it out. But if that individual is still yelling, still rude, still disrespectful, still gaslighting, still minimizing, then there comes the time for you to enforce the boundary. So enforcing the boundary says, I've already set my boundary and told you, right, that this is not what I will accept. And so if you are not respecting that, then here's what's going to happen. And that's when you have to move into the this is what's going to happen stage of the relationship, which may mean isolation, which may mean disconnection, which may mean limiting your access or shifting around them. You get to decide what that consequence is, what that additional variable is going to be when it's time to enforce the boundary. Because nobody's obligated to respect you or your boundaries except for you.